nobody was willing to help them with the cremation, which was so sad. So,
Okay,
so
we're live. Hi,
Yeah.
we're live.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, we can just.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to an interesting panel discussion on the art of photography. I hope you and your loved ones are safe and taking necessary precautions to fight COVID-19. Today, as the world experiences an unprecedented crisis, we at Lupin salute your selfless efforts and commitment in fighting this pandemic and protecting the society. DocClix is a unique platform created by Lupin for appreciating the hidden photographer within the doctors. I want to thank all those doctors who have already registered for the contest and would request everyone else to register before June 21st and submit their best picks. Now, I would like to invite Mr. Yashwant Mahadik, President Global HR Lupin Limited and Curator of Jury for DocClix. He himself is an amazing wildlife and nature photographer, and so let's hear it from him and the other eminent jury members. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ashutosh and Team Lupin. This is a very, very heartwarming initiative, to salute the frontline COVID warriors, as we call them, the doctors, the healthcare professional, nurses, everyone. But this contest is mostly for the doctors of India. And I've had the privilege of curating this outstanding jury, if you may like. And this was done keeping a lot of things in mind, because here the celebrities are the doctors who are going to participate and the jury themselves. Of course, we have various other celebrities who have, lent their name to this contest, and there are more who are lining up to lend their name and, kind of put their weight behind this. And thank you very much to all of them, especially Mr. Anil Kapoor, who has been the main endorser of this, and he was the one who launched this contest. And what this session and the objective of today's session is that I'm going to introduce the jury to all of you, so you will understand, what each photographer that we have curated and what they bring about. And then I'm going to ask some questions to the jury about the art and craft of photography, what it means to them. And this is again at the request of the doctors, because then this helps people to get a very good understanding of what do each jury member look into when it comes to the images that are going to be submitted. Okay, so let me introduce the jury one by one. Okay, and then of course we'll have a nice open house and you can ask questions to them at the end of it. So let me begin by introducing the first jury member, and that is Kalyan Verma. Kalyan needs very little introduction, like all other jury members. Kalyan is a fellow wildlife and nature photographer and cinematographer. And he has had the distinction of shooting and doing a lot of creative stuff and work for Nat Geo, for BBC, for both these, leading media houses. And in fact, he is published. He is a national, international award-winning photographer and cinematographer. And one of the things to his achievement is that his latest work was actually nominated for an Emmy Award. So Kalyan, welcome to the jury of DocClix. And I would request you to give a brief introduction of yourself and then share with the participants in the next 2 to 3 minutes as to what does photography mean to you and what would you be looking at when it comes to an image that people are going to submit for this contest. So over to you, Kalyan. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Yash, for the generous introduction. So it's great to be on the jury of this because it's an important cause and all of us really need to come out and support for it. Photography for me, a lot of people think that photography is a profession, but for me it isn't. For me, photography is a medium to express the emotions I feel. It's just like writing, you write something to express something. So for me, photography really is that. And the more you can see the world, the interesting aspects of the world, the better the photography is, really. And at the end of the day, a camera is just a tool, you can do it. And so it can even be a mobile phone these days, so it's not the tools that are important, but it's what you capture as a photographer. And especially in these times, I'm very glad that doctors who've been working for the last 3 months non-stop, it's a good break for them to participate in this contest. And I really look forward to seeing some amazing entries from doctors. One of the things I know for the fact is that somehow doctors and wildlife are always related. If you look at Indian wildlife, most of the species animals were described by British doctors, actually, who were in remote areas. So, and I know a lot of doctors are passionate about wildlife and wildlife photography. So I really look forward to some of those amazing images that come in, and really looking forward to being part of the jury.
Thank you very much, Kalyan. Thanks a lot. And this is Kalyan Verma, one of the jury members for the DocClix contest. And now let me go to another very renowned and just an outstanding photographer and human being, as he's termed by most. And that is Tarun Khiwal. Tarun is, the pride of India when it comes to photography. And, he is, again, a very, very, he's a leading visual artist and and the only Hasselblad Master Award winner for India. Tarun needs no introduction, when it comes to photography or people in the world of photography. And Tarun, I welcome you to this jury, and thank you very much for agreeing to be a part of it. One of the things that Tarun mentioned to me yesterday, which I was not aware of, and he said that, Yash, I really look forward to being a part of it because I know what the COVID frontline warriors are doing. He said that his wife himself is a doctor and he's seeing it closely. And that's why he agreed to accept to be a jury member for the DocClix. So Tarun, a very warm welcome, and over to you to introduce yourself and share what does the art and craft of photography mean to you, and what would you be looking at when it comes to participants submitting their images. So over to you, Tarun. Thank you very much.
Hi guys, so I'm Tarun Khiwal, photographer. Mostly my work is in the genre of advertising, fashion, and editorial. Uh, what I would be looking at in terms of when I'm selecting any winner is that I just divide pictures into only two parts. One is that is the image touching me or not, whether it moves me or not. So it needs to go and touch yourself. Only then you feel like the image is doing. If you'll have to write too many things about that means some way or the other you failed in expressing words, because this is our language. You see, like a poet will write a poet, a painter will paint. So like that, a dancer will dance. So I personally feel when do you become a visual artist or a artist, is that if you see that when the dancer becomes the dance, that's when things starts moving. When the singer becomes the song, that is when things start moving, because then you're connected to your medium. That means you have understood your language and you're able to express through that. So these are the criteria I'll be looking at when I'll select any picture. So I hope I get to see many pictures. I really salute you, all you guys, those who are working so hard. My wife herself is a doctor. I know what all we are going through, what she's going through. I look forward to see this whole thing. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Tarun. And the next eminent photographer that I want to introduce now, again, he is very renowned. He's the Canon ambassador for India for many years, In fact, recently I again saw a post, Canon again, advertising him as an ambassador. So I always thought he was always. And just an extraordinary human being, a very creative person. And that is Shivang Mehta. And Shivang is, again, a leading photographer, Canon ambassador. And I'm very happy to welcome him to the jury. And his genre is wildlife and nature, but it's not just that. I keep watching his videos. He teaches you a lot of creative things on how to photograph smoke at home, and just brilliant. So a very warm welcome to you, Shivang. And may I request you to please introduce yourself and say a bit about what photography means to you and what would you be looking forward from this contest.
Thank you, Yash, and thanks to the entire Lupin team for having me as a part of the jury team. First of all, this is a brilliant initiative by you guys, and we have all been seeing that the world has been going through a crisis, and the doctors are really the frontline warriors who have been working day in and day out. And a contest like this and a avenue like this for them, it's a deserving break. And in the past so many years, uh, in a lot of my wildlife expeditions and wildlife programs which I conduct, there are a lot of doctors who accompany me, and I'm truly amazed with the kind of images they come out with. So I know that doctors have a lot of potential to do some amazing work, and especially in the field of wildlife, I've seen. So, uh, so as far as this competition is concerned, you know, I've been a part of jury for other competitions, and I have closely observed how competitions work. So there's one very key line of difference. So first of all, we need to all understand that what is a good image. I feel that a good image is something which touches your soul, and especially in a mass level competition like this, where uh, in a mass level competition like this, where so many people are participating. So as a contestant, one should realize the fact that you know in front of the jury screen, your images would be displayed for hardly a few seconds. So from a jury point, you need to think from a jury perspective. You need to capture the judge's attention for those few seconds. So if your image is able to touch my soul, or say the other jury member's soul, for those 2 seconds or 3 seconds, your image is a good image. If we are stuck onto that particular image for beyond 3 seconds, then probably your image moves above that thing of being a good image, and it probably deserves to qualify to the next round because it's a great image. So there's the definition of good, from good to being great. That is something which is very important for participating in a contest, and that is something which you need to think about as a contestant. And secondly, for competition where since we are from the wildlife genre, and we don't have subcategories. So I would say that there are two kinds of images. One, there may be a very creative image, and there can be an image which is defined by moments. So I would be definitely looking at something where the contestant has probably managed a balance between creativity and moments. Of course, being creative is really good, and being moment, something which has been shot just purely by luck, by being there at the right naturalistic moment in case of wildlife, or in case of a street, or other genres of photography, just being there at the right time at the right place. But if you're able to strike the right balance, then you should be able to perform well in a competition like this, because there's a right balance between creativity and moments. So these would be my inputs, and this is something which I would be looking forward to. So best of luck to all you doctors, and I'm really looking forward to seeing some good images out there.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Shivang. Thank you very much for that. And now let me go to the next one. And again, a very, very special photographer. Also happens to be a friend. He is my Sunday school, boarding school senior, and extraordinary human being. And that is Amit Asher. Amit is a Mumbai-based leading fashion, advertisement, and Bollywood photographer. And I've had the privilege. I mean, I call Amit Guru in many ways, and thanks Amit for that. And Amit, I thank you very much for agreeing to be a part of this jury, and I welcome you. And may I request you now to introduce yourself and say a few words about what do you expect from the participants in this contest, and what does photography mean to you? Yeah, we can see you.
Hi, Yash. Hi, everybody. Thank you, Yash, for a very lovely introduction. This is a great initiative. It's a great initiative because the doctors do need a respite. They do need this little push to continue what they are doing so valiantly. These are trying times. These are not normal times. These are very, very trying times, and they are out there in the absolute forefront, playing a blind field. You don't know what to expect next, and it's amazing. You guys have to use all your resources, sensibilities, all your abilities, and humanity related abilities. These are very trying times, and hats off to all you doctors out there. Thank you so much. I hope we can bring that give you that moment of relaxation or relaxation. Don't know, maybe not the right word, but that moment of respite that you need to rejuvenate your energies and go back there. Thank you, Yash. Thank you, Lupin, for this amazing initiative. And yes, we are very proud to be a part of this. I hope we can do justice to this. The other thing is that we've always, I personally should say, I've always met doctors at mostly, unless socially, very few doctors I know socially. I have only a couple of friends who are doctors. But other than that, meeting a doctor is not they are during grave times or, when something is wrong. So you are only in discussion of the condition that you have gone to them with. You don't get to get into a doctor's heart and mind. This is a great way for us to be able to see how they see and how they feel about things. Whatever the subject they choose to show their images on, whether it is street and lifestyle, or it's wildlife and nature, or it's portraits, or whatever it is. I'd love to see the point of view of doctors. We don't get to see them from that point of view. So all you doctors, you're going to show yourself to us. Thank you. It's going to be a great time seeing all these images that come our way. About myself, yes, Yash introduced me as a photographer, as a commercial photographer. I do a lot of work in the field of advertising, many movie posters, and there is a personal body of work which I have also. There are a couple of books that are coming out, which will in due course come out. And what I love doing on my own is seeing the magic in the ordinary. There's a lot of magic around us. That's my true expression. It's not about the technicalities of photography. It's just putting a frame to so much magic that goes on around us. There is lots of magic. You just have to be in the moment and, be engaged with to be able to notice those. And photography is my language of choice. I don't like to speak that much, but photography is the language of my choice, and I like to express myself via that. My deep down way of seeing, I can't put in words, but the pictures I see can describe me. They reflect me. My personal images reflect me completely. So it's going to be great fun. And how I look at images, as in every relation in life, whether with the person or with anything, वो हिंदी में कहावत होती है घंटी बजनी चाहिए. तो वो घंटी bajni chahiye. That's how I look at it. And yes, I do have an affinity and a fondness for people who look beyond the obvious. So beyond the obvious goes very far with me. So here's to you, doctors. Cheers. See you on the battlefield, on the photographic battlefield. Thank you.
Thanks. Thanks a lot, Amit. Thank you very much. And now let's go to the next member of the jury, and that is another one from wildlife and nature photography genre, and that is Sagar Gosavi. Sagar is a Mumbai-based photographer, and again, someone who's very renowned and just an extraordinary human being. So, Sagar, I welcome you to the jury as one of the judges, and I would request you to introduce yourself and explain to doctors what does photography mean to you. Yeah.
Thanks, Yash. Thanks for the introduction. Hello, everyone. Really good to see you all doctors here and all the jury members here. It's a great honor and opportunity to be a part of such a cause and to be a part of such a great team of juries. Yes, when it comes to doctors, considering the current situation, the situation of pandemics, the situation of the confusion and the scariness and the emergency. Really, hats off to the doctor, because we, as a human beings, we are feeling safe in such situation, and it's all due to because of the doctors who are working on the front line. Because we know that if something goes wrong with us, there is some person there who will be looking after us and who will be treating us, and that person is a doctor. So hats off to them. Salute to all the doctors who are really fighting for fighting with this COVID-19 situation as a frontline soldiers. And coming to the contest, yes, as I said, it's an honor to be a jury member, because I know working in the field of nature and wildlife photography from past 18 years, I've come across many doctors who are really wonderful human beings and wonderful photographers, artists, and I have seen their work closely. And I'm sure looking at the work of so many doctors, it's gonna be really a treat, and we'll see the other side of doctors, which will be a wonderful thing to explore in this contest. So as a contest, the image which we click, it reflects the perseverance, it reflects the patience, it reflects the creativity of the person, and it also tells you the story, what that photograph is all about. So the image should have all this, which will reflect, and I'm sure it's gonna be treat for all the juries to go through all these wonderful images you submit. So wish you all the best, and once again thank you for all your hard work and efforts in fighting COVID-19 as a frontline soldier. Thank you, Yash.
Thanks, Sagar. Thank you very much, and welcome to the jury. And last but not the least, okay, another very favorite photographer, and I'm sure we all see his work every day. At least I see his work every day. He's a leading photojournalist. He's a leading photojournalist working for Times of India. And, almost every day you see his photographs and street and candid and just beautiful photographs that are published by Times of India. And that is my good friend Shant. Okay, so Shant Kumar is our jury member, as I said, last not the least. And Shant is a very inspiring story of how he became a photojournalist and why he wants to remain a photojournalist. Again, like others, a nationally and internationally award-winning and published photographer, a photographer of repute with tremendous heart and love for the art and craft of photography. So Shant, welcome as a jury member, and I'd request you to introduce yourself a little bit more and tell people what does photography mean to you.
Hi, Ash. Thank you so much. It's been a great honor to be in this biggest platform. And Yash, this is one of the greatest initiative ideas what you have done to this, society and the warriors on the front line. Because example, like every day, I used to see them. I used to take pictures. The day started this pandemic, I've been shooting with doctors and nurses and everybody. I don't know how their mind is. They are in so much stress. I can feel the pain. I can feel the stress because I don't know how they are tackling their and every day's work life, and they're fighting for this big issues happen crisis. So it's a kind of a dilemma of their mentality, how they are really working. Even I, when I click pictures with them, so it's like with a sweet smile, I can feel them. Yes, sir, you're really into the front line. But I also just when before I take image, I just smile to them and I make sure that I talk to them for a minute or something like that if you are free. So it makes more comfortable for me to shoot them. So I'm also part of all the frontline warriors of the great. Like I feel them as a god. They are like god. So for me, the image is one that tells a story, that communicates to the viewer, and that still emotion and has some action. A good image for me is one that shows people the like what they didn't see, the hidden truth, the frame that speaks. After a long image, it's worth like 1,000 words. So for me, the image is always like that. So I only look after, like, there should be always a emotion, surrounding with the photograph. So that is for me. I just look at the images like that. So for me, it's like it reflects my life and my feelings when I shoot images. So when I see the image, it reflects me as a person. So I look at the image like that. So it should be like a lot of emotions and actions, and that one image should tell us entire story. So that's what I'm looking for. And I'm really thankful for this Lupin India and Yash sir, and it's everybody, all the juries have been a part of this, and it's really mean to me. And I hope all the dogs, and I keep all them in prayers. So we wish everything should be normal. So I wish all them very best of luck and great thing initiative to looking forward this as a best. So thank you, Yash sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Shant. Thank you very much. And thanks again, once again, to the entire jury. A warm welcome. And the doctors had recorded, they had made a request to us that they want the recording of this session to be available on Facebook and YouTube for at least a week, because,
Sure.
then they want to use it. So we are going to do that. Okay. And that's going to be there. And that's where maximum people will see it. So what we have done is, and in fact, the team has been sending me questions. So even if the doctors have not been on this Facebook Live, or there have been some who are on YouTube right now, and they've been sending in their questions to the team at the back end. So let me start asking those questions, okay? And put them across to the jury. And they're very heartwarming, actually, compliments and questions to the jury. So yes, the first question was by a doctor, is this an independent jury? Answer is yes, this is a totally independent jury. And I want to place on record here that each jury member is doing this on an honorary basis. They're doing it as an honorary person just because of their love for the cause for which this contest is being run. So that is one. Then the question is to Tarun Khiwal. So this is Sandeep who is saying, Tarun, first of all, with folded hands, say a big thank you to your wife on behalf of all of us who's a frontline warrior. Then there are a couple of it's a lengthy one, so I will just make it short for Tarun. So it says that, Tarun, I've been your fan and have been following your photography and body of work. Do you only use Hasselblad, or there's other equipment that you use, is one question. And second is, Tarun, do you want to share a story which was one of the best images that you created with least of efforts? So this is a question for you, Tarun, from one of the participants.
Okay, so, so about my wife, she's a doctor, she's a gynecologist, not directly dealing with the COVID patients right now at this stage. Uh, Maybe it will come to that just in case if the cases will increase. Uh, but still, being a doctor, she's always in the hospital and all. So anyway, that's one thing. About the camera I use Hasselblad, Nikon. These are two. 35 format is Nikon, and otherwise I'm using Hasselblad. What was the third thing?
It is that which is the image that you're really proud of, which you took without much of planning or whatever, and it is your favorite image. That's what they're asking.
Okay, cliche answer. My favorite image is still to come. Okay, that's a cliche answer. Anyway, I guess the work I do handheld, without using too many lights, with natural light, with the minimum crew, is what I like. Because that way the control is still in your hand, because the team is not taking over. Otherwise, the kind of work I do in advertising and fashion, the team is really big. And I like when I shoot L'Affaire campaign, there are very few people in the team. Model, one stylist, makeup artist, and so I get a lot of time for me to interact with the person, especially and when I shoot portraits and stuff like that, because there's personal interaction happening at that time. The team is not taking over, then they're not hounding you on your head, and you get a personal space to interact with the model. And when you start interacting, there is somehow your energy connects to with the other person, and that is how you get good results. I personally feel that before picking up the camera and before starting to shoot, um, I guess it's important first we learn how to see instead of straight away getting into shooting. So if we bring a little stillness within ourselves, it becomes easier, because right now the problem also is that whenever we live in the world where we are bombarded by images every single day. You get up in the morning, there is Instagram, there are Pinterest, then there are newspaper, then television, then whole lot of medium. There are so many platforms, and you're bombarded by images. And because you're a visual artist, you are attracted towards the visuals all the time. So what happens is your mind is filled with images, and all kind of images. So when you pick up the camera and then suddenly you feel like, oh, this looks like Raghurai's image, and let me just click this. And that is what I think you need to
Perfect.
you have to clear the clutter first. So
Perfect.
before you press the button, you'll have to make sure that you are off that no other images is coming to your mind, and you are simply connected to that image which is happening in front of you. As I said, that you need to learn to see extraordinary in ordinary, and once you start doing that, you will see. So how do you do that? So you have to become a little more still when you're a still frogger, but I'm saying you'll have to become a little more still as a being, and let the atmosphere and the energy of that space where you're shooting and the energy of that person you're shooting with, let your energy interact with that. Once that thing starts happening, the pictures will then it's like when then the picture falls on your lap, if that happens, and if that happens, that's the most beautiful spiritual thing which can happen to you. So I would suggest that when the best images come when you become a little more still within your being, clear the clutter, whatever you have, and start seeing things completely fresh, and you will see small things which are very interesting. I'm saying in normal life you will they will just pass. You won't even see it, or you won't even recognize them. But it's in smaller things you will understand that there is great detail, and once you start capturing that, that's you will see the beauty happening in your images.
Excellent. Now, thank you so much, Tarun. This is wonderful. It's a treat to anyone, who is interested in photography to listen to this. It's straight from the heart, and it's so simple. It's so simply explained and beautifully explained. Thank you so much, Tarun, for that. So there's another similar question for Amit Ashar. Okay. So it's from Dr. Mishra, and he's saying that. So Amit, can you share with us when you shoot movie posters? Are they worked in the post processing, or have you shot any movie poster which is a natural shot and which did not go through any editing or image manipulation? So I know the answer myself, Amit, but I want you to give it. My favorite movie poster that you have shot. So over to you, Amit, and this is an interesting question which this doctor wants to know from you.
Yeah, that's a wonderful question, because I've always felt that, movie posters need to be more real and more close to the movie. But that doesn't happen all the time. They end up becoming art directed by somebody else, and the design and everything comes together in such a way that they become like, you need to put a lot of actors into one poster. So it's not about a moment or an image that represents the movie. It's about a collage of a design that represents a movie more often than not. But having said that, if it is planned at an earlier stage, that yes, what I need to say is that the posters are usually designed after the movie is done shooting. Mostly. The poster design time and conception and everything comes after the movie has been shot. But if in collaboration with the director and the producer, if they're keen about their posters representing the film more truthfully, then they plan it in such a way that you can do it during the making of the film, because it's all real then. Because if you're shooting actors who, say for instance, who are playing journalists in Afghanistan or something, if you spend 20 days in Afghanistan, your skin becomes a certain way. It becomes chapped. It gets the redness that comes from the sun. The cold affects it. It gets sallow. Your skin is not like how makeup wala skin is. The reflectance becomes very different. Your hair becomes a certain way. And to achieve all that and get that right on a poster, you can't finish the film, come back to Bombay, and then 2 months later shoot it when the actors are looking great and different from what they were looking while they were in Afghanistan. So to do that, you have to be there and in collaboration with the director. So I've had the good fortune of working with some directors who are very good friends also, and who also believe in a similar point of view. One of them is Rakesh Mehra. That's how the poster for Rang De Basanti came about. I was there with them. He's a very dear friend also. And there's a great deal of regard and respect for one another's works that we have. So while we were shooting, I shot that image of the 4 guys jumping with their backs towards camera. And I went and showed Mehra the image. Mehra looked at it, and all he said was the first poster of the film. And he took the camera, showed it to Amir. Amir looked at it and said, "Acha, not only the first poster of the film, it should be the only poster of the film." So I was saying, amazing. Many people in the business of making films, the producers and the studio representing it, may not believe in such things. That the back of 4 actors, you've got an actor called Amir Khan in the film. Why should you show his face? That will be the draw. That will sell the tickets. But no, they believed in being close to the film and let a picture with 4 people and their backs towards camera go up on the poster and come with time. that image has achieved iconic status because it represents freedom. Many people have chosen it as an image to represent freedom uh, in many ways. I happened to be in Kabul to shoot posters for a film, Kabul Express. Even those posters are, we got to shoot images that we could do. I mean, I've been very fortunate in being able to shoot some posters of films. There's a beautiful film called Mukti Bhavan, Hotel Salvation, otherwise. Another of my favorite posters. Again, the producers and directors gave me the wonderful opportunity, and they trusted my work that much that they gave me freedom to shoot the way I wanted to, because I had heard the story. I was deeply connected with the story, and very impressed with the story, very touched by the story. So they let me interpret the film in the way I saw it, without putting any boundaries, any interference, nothing. They just gave me the actors and said, "Okay, you're on your own with them. Here, take whatever else you want and shoot." And these are some of my favorite posters, also the ones that I've shot. So yes, I really like shooting posters, and if they represent the film correctly, then I feel I've done my bit there.
Fantastic. No, thank you so much, Amit. That is such a powerful and an inspiring story. Yeah? Thank you very much. Now, the next one is actually so I've combined the question. This is from two doctors, for Kalyan and for Shivang, both. So the one to Kalyan is, Kalyan, how do you flex yourself between wildlife and nature filmmaking versus still photography? And which is your favorite medium? Okay, that's a question to Kalyan. And the question to Shivang is very, very interesting one. So obviously this doctor seems to follow you, Shivang, very closely, saying that big fan of your work. I saw an image which you got, which I think won an award, international award, where a tiger is hunting a sambar deer. While you were shooting that, how were you feeling? Okay. And do you think that that emotion of yours has come in that image? It's a very nice question, I would say. So over to Shivang to answer your question, and then to Kalyan.
Okay, so regarding the tiger image you are mentioning, I think that image was shot during the production of one of my books called Decade with Tigers, and where I was following one of the tiger families in Ranthambore National Park, and it was a very when you're shooting in the wild, things are very unpredictable. And that was one unpredictable morning because nothing was happening. And it was a very interesting season also, because spent maximum man hours in Ranthambore just to follow some specific tigers and for the purpose of the book, and of course for the purpose of the company I work for. So nothing was happening on that particular morning. Things were very dull, and I had actually decided to leave the park on earlier than usual. Normally, I think in the summer, the park closing time in the morning is around 9:30, 10 or whatever. So I was at the park gate by around 8:45 because there were no clues. Nothing was happening. And it was just purely a matter of, I went to the washroom at the park gate, and I came out, and there was this forest guard standing, and there was a kind of there was a census happening in Ranthambore that time, where the forest guys were going out for GPS tracking and things like that. So I was having a chat with him, and normally I'm very comfortable, working with forest guards and all. So I was having a chat with the guy, and he mentioned he wanted to go to a specific location. He was going to a specific location for some GPS tracking. So I saw my watch. There was still a lot of safari time left. So I said that, why don't you come with me? I'll just drop you there. Rather than you walking all the way up the hill, I'll just drop you there. So while I was going, there was just a call on his wireless device, because that he was a forest guy, so he got a call on his wireless device saying that the tiger family was seen somewhere on the lakes. So this guy said that and we had hardly started from the gate. He said that why don't you just he said, I'll get down here and you can proceed towards the lakes. But I thought that I had taken up the commitment to drop him to the hill. So I said, and in my mind I was also thinking by now there would be tons of vehicles that would have already reached that particular spot, and there's no point going to the lakes now. And okay, fine. I mean, it's just the mother and cubs, which I've been following for so many months. So it's fine. It's better to drop this guy at his designated point. So, but this guy insisted that, I'll just get down here and you go to the lakes. And I said, okay, fine. So I just dropped him there. I went to the lakes, and as expected, there was a chain of vehicles around the lakes. And I normally don't like shooting in a crowd. So people who are familiar to the geography of Ranthambore, right in front of the Rajbagh Lake, there's a nice banyan tree out there. So I parked my vehicle there, and I was just resting out there because I didn't expect anything to see. And as soon as I parked my vehicle there, and I was actually resting, my legs were fully stretched out, and I was in a resting position. And we turned back, and we just saw that one of the cubs was right next to the car. So apparently there was probably the tigress, the mother, and the two cubs. Those were the three tigers seen by the other vehicles. And this particular young cub was next to my car. So I said, okay, fine. So I had, since the tiger was really close to my vehicle, I just opened my camera bag. I started pulling out my smaller lens and all those things. But then I just noticed that this guy was up to something. He was stalking. And as soon as I turned towards the other side, I saw that there's this small deer fawn he was stalking. And before anything could, before there was any kind of a realization, the young sub-adult male, he just started stalking the deer. And it just happened in a fraction of a second. And so, that entire series of images, and that particular image which you are mentioning, and the entire series of images which has been published in the book also, probably everything happened in a fraction of the hunt happened in a fraction of a second, and that entire sequence would have probably happened in a couple of minutes. So, that was a very unexpected thing. I didn't expect that to happen at all. And so it was an unproductive morning, which suddenly became the most productive session as far as the Ranthambore chapter of the book is concerned. So yeah, so when you're working with the subjects, with the kind of subjects like we do, there cannot be any kind of a relaxation. Things can just fortunes can just turn around in a second. So that is something which was quite special about that. But the interesting thing about that entire sequence was, since you were talking about the emotional part of that image. So since it was a young sub-adult tiger, for him, killing that particular deer, it was not a very easy task. that deer, the tiger as well as the deer, they both were struggling. And he was an immature tiger. He didn't know how to catch hold of the deer. So his initial attempt, tigers are very, prolific hunters. Uh, they know where to catch hold of the prey, and uh, they don't. The prey normally doesn't struggle so much. But in this case, the prey struggled a lot because the deer was struggling so much because the initial attempt was that the tiger just got hold of the back of the deer instead of going in for the neck. And so he started dragging the deer towards the top of the ridge from the neck itself. And then, they both settled down there. And then there was a kind of a tussle going on between the deer and the tiger. And the deer was screaming a lot. So now, at the end of the day, a lot of people, they ask me this question because it's been mentioned in the book also, this entire incidents which which I'm just talking about. Because, it was such a tussle between that young tiger and the deer that the deer was refusing to give up, and this tiger was also refusing to give up. And as a matter of fact, this was the first successful hunt, you can say, that this young tiger would have ever made in his life. So, so this young tiger finally gave up, and he decided not to fully kill the deer, and he started eating it alive. So he just ripped apart the rear part of the deer and he started eating it alive. So, so I'm not a big fan of shooting, cats eating kills. All those gory images of the blood covered faces of cats, lions, tigers, and as soon as those things start happening, because for me those are not visually pleasing images. So as soon as those things start happening, I don't take still images. Probably I'll just start shooting some videos and all, or I'll just put down my camera and I'll just see it, or I'll just start playing a game on my mobile. So, but in that particular case, since this was a part of a story, I actually shot the entire thing. So this entire sequence is there. So it's still quite fresh in my mind. I mean, the shrilling sounds of the deer, it's quite fresh in my mind. And do I feel bad about the deer? It's the circle of life. I mean, that's nature. So you can't help it. So, but for that tiger, if I think about that tiger, he did something good in life. For him, it was a major stepping stone. He made his first kill. Probably his mother would have been so proud of him that he made his first kill. So that's, I guess, that's what nature is all about. That's the kind of work we do.
Thank you, Shivang. What a story. As they say, there's so many stories behind every image, and so good to hear the story. Thank you so much, and keep inspiring, Shivang. Please keep inspiring all of us here. Okay, so over to Kalyan, which was the last question so far. And there's one comment which has come, which is for, it says to Amit and to Tarun. He says, we as doctors handle low light photography with wide angle cameras every day. Only we use them in endoscopic and laparoscopic procedures. The images may not be very pleasing, but we save lives. And thank you for inspiring us with the art of photography. It says to Amit and to Tarun and to everyone else. So fantastic. I think that's a great comment. So with that, let's go to Kalyan to answer his. That how do you flex between still and filmmaking, and which is your favorite? So that was the question to Kalyan.
Yeah, this is the hardest part of my job. When something amazing like what Shivang just mentioned, when that is playing out in front of you, I don't know what to do to pick up my stills camera or the video camera. For a long time, for many years, I used to carry both. And depending on the situation, I could um, shift. You really don't know how it'll play out and things like that, right? So with video, the difference is that um, you need to build a sequence. You need to build a story, you know. So that shot of a tiger disappearing behind a tree, where you don't even see the face, will be a very useful video shot, but it's a very useless still photograph, right? Uh, so it's always finding this balance, which I find it hard. I really don't know how. So in the last 2 years, I've stopped carrying my camera, unfortunately, stills camera, because it was always a conflict. Like, what should I be doing? And the nice thing is that today the video technology has become so good that I shoot as much as I can possible. I shoot in 8K, worst case in 4K resolution. And it means that I can still take a screenshot or a frame grab from the video that I shoot and use that as an image. And the quality of that image is good enough for a like a A4 size publication and things like that. So that's what I've shifted from doing, trying to balance stills and videos, to just shoot videos, but shoot at the highest quality possible, resolution possible, so that I can pick up a screen grab and use that, you know. So it's always hard. It's always hard to make the decision. So Yash, what was the second question? Sorry, I forgot.
So this was that, how do you flex between the two mediums and which one is your favorite?
Oh, which is my favorite. Okay. So it's hard to say which one is your favorite, because video you communicate in a different way in video, you communicate with a different view with stills. With stills, you capture whatever, 1/500th a second frame, and that image by itself is very, I mean, if you get an amazing image, that image is very powerful. But with video, the problem is that, like Shivang was saying, if I can get a 10-second clip of a tiger hunting, it's quite amazing. But if I don't have a sequence, that is useless. I need to build the sequence in such a way. I need to show footage of deer feeding, a tiger coming, looking at the deer, stalking the deer, slowly come up to it, all that, right? So it's completely sorry.
Yeah.
So completely different mediums of communication. I think depending on how I want to communicate, I switch between both. I still think that photography is my favorite. I still think photography is my thing. But videography pays my bills. So, so I just have to be honest.
Okay. No, thank you so much. Thank you so much. There are no yet any direct questions for Shant or Sagar, but I am sure they'll come because, and we will WhatsApp them to you, and we'll keep sharing your answers with the participants who are keen on this. But I'm also watchful of the time, and I know it's a Sunday, you're all at home, and I want you to go back to your families. But I think it's time to wrap this up. So as we said, let me once again tell you, the contest opened on 1st of June. It'll continue up till midnight of 21st. 22nd, 23rd, 24th is the sub-jury round, where we will shortlist the images and then bring them to the main jury. Then we are going to give, yesterday only we agreed the judging process with all the jury members. Then we are going to give 2 days to the jury members to look at the images. And then there's a full-fledged process, which has been put in place. And then the jury will meet to decide on the winners for all the 3 categories. Okay. And by end of June is when we are planning, or 1st of July for sure, we want to announce the results of this contest. And we will do it in a nice manner, in a very good online ceremony, okay, and an online exhibition which is being planned. So that's all I want to say. And at the same time, I want to thank Tarun. I want to thank Shivang. I want to thank Amit. I want to thank Kalyan, Sagar, and Shant, the 6 jury members whom I had the pleasure of curating for this contest. and also the pleasure of introducing all of them to you, via this Facebook and YouTube live, and the videos will remain there. So take a look at that. Please participate wholeheartedly. And we look forward to saluting you for this cause of being the COVID frontline warrior in this country. Thank you so much, jury members, and thank you so much, doctors. So let me take a pause here. Would any of the jury members want to say anything in 30 seconds or less to the participants of this contest? Let's begin with Tarun and go in the same order as we went.
Well, I would only like to thank all of you for working so hard in these difficult times, and I can understand like how difficult it is right now. Uh, we'll be very honest, and while we are selecting the images, we'll be very honest, and we'll see that whatever we select is correct and projected in a nicer way. I really thank you from my heart that what all you are doing is very, very precious and very important right now. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tarun. Shivang?
So all you doctors out there, you guys have been working very hard. So just take a break, put your creative hat on, and submit your best images, because we all are looking forward to seeing your best. And you have already heard about what kind of expectations we have. So just submit your best images, and that's what we are looking for.
Thank you so much, Shivang. Amit? I think Amit is, yeah.
I'm on mute.
Amit, you're on mute.
The question that the suggestion that somebody made about the reference to the kind of doctors do endoscopically, and laboration being being conducted on my wife laparoscopically, and to wield a camera and those instruments of surgery at the same time, incredible. I don't know how you guys do it. It's mind-blowing. My heart was in my throat all through the operation while I was watching it. Hats off to what you guys can pull off with the cameras. But now it's time to see the other side, the camera outside of the body. Let's see what you guys do there. Wishing you all the very best and continue with the good work. Proud of you guys. Salute. Thank you.
Thank you, Amit. Thank you so much, Amit. Kalyan?
So my word for all the doctors is salute, like Mr. Amit sir has said. I really think that it's unfortunate that we needed COVID-19 to for everybody to realize the importance of doctors. I hope that we as a country will invest more in healthcare and the way we look at doctors. So I bow to them. In these hard times, they're out of the way, going out of the thing. And I really hope that this photography contest will give them a much needed break and recognition also, because I'm sure they're amazing. Abilities, and I look forward to that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Kalyan. Shant? Shant, you're on mute.
Hi, yes. Hi, doctor, everybody. It's my big hats off, and it's all a prayer. All my prayers and my family, everybody are praying for this country, and you people are doing a tremendous. We cannot even imagine what you people are doing to this country and the people. So please keep aside for a few hours and just come into it and click some great images that we want to see, that after doing all this so much of pressure, and I know the pressure of work you guys are doing, so we want to see the other side of your artist, we can say that. So I wish all my heartily best wishes to everybody. We are just waiting to see the great images just to blow out our mind. So God bless everybody. We are there. Love you,
Thank you
everyone.
so much, Shant. Thank you so much, Shant. And last but not the least, Sagar.
Hello, everyone. Yeah, thanks to all the doctors again. The salute to their work, what they are doing. We are seeing actually the selfless side and the warrior side of all the doctors who are fighting with the COVID-19 situation. And it's time to, we are really looking forward to see your, artistic and the creative side. So wish you all the best and looking forward to the contest.
Thank you so much, Sagar. So with that, now I hand it back to Ashutosh to conclude and end this live session. So Ashutosh, over to you.
Thank you, Yash. Thanks, everyone. And a special thanks to the jury, Tarun Kiwal, Kalyan Verma, Shant Kumar, Sagar Gosavi, Shivang Mehta, and Amit Asher. Thank you. You probably created interest in many more other photographers like me who would like to probably invest more time in it and get the creative side on from a corporate perspective, go on to the creative side. So thanks a lot for reigniting that, what I would say, a creative side of ours. Thanks a lot. And again, a salute to the frontline warriors, the doctors. Thanks a lot. And we look forward to amazing entries. We look forward to the entire contest as a kind of a platform which we have created to salute their efforts, their selfless spirit. So look forward to it. Look forward to the jury members judging it, and obviously the grand finale, which, as Yash mentioned, probably around June end or July first week. So thank you all. Thank you for being a part of this panel discussion. Once again, look forward for a great success of DocClix, the contest started by Lupin. Thank you.
Thank you.
Brother, can I tell you one thing? No, sir, just last.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. I'm just saying that if anybody has problem, disturbed mind, please take your camera and go and shoot some pictures, make you better and happy.
Yes, so true.
So that makes
Sure,
really
sure.
feels better.
Sure, sure. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Bye.
much.
Bye.
Thanks a lot. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.